Bitcoin soared to all-time high of $112,000 late Wednesday, driven by growing institutional interest and intensified risk appetite as traditional financial institutions deepen their exposure to the world's largest cryptocurrency. Welcome to Business Point, where we extract the Nigerian economy and the government policies. I am Kike Lomo Okere. The original cryptocurrency rose as much as 3.1% to $112,900, pushing it to gain this year close to 20%. Bitcoin crossed all-time peak at $112,000 before later trading at $111,259 on the day. The flagship digital asset has climbed more than 18% year-to-date, defying macroeconomic headwinds and geopolitical volatility. Tariff tension and crypto momentum. The latest rally comes just few days after President Donald Trump announced sweeping new tariff on 5 emerging markets: Malaysia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, Myanmar, and Laos, imposing rates of up to 40%. Japan also saw its tariff rate raised to 25%, with the new levies scheduled to effect on August 1, 2025. Market analysis says the administration's crypto-friendly policies are helping unlock new pools of institutional capital and driving broader adoption of digital assets. Adding that, the momentum Trump Media and Technology Group, led by members of Trump family, filed plans with U.S. regulators to launch a multi-token crypto exchange trade fund. The proposed ETF would include allocation into Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, and Ripple, highlighting growing mainstream interest in the sector. The rally extended beyond Bitcoin, boosting other major cryptocurrency and crypto-linked stock. Ether, the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, surged to a one-month high of $2,794.95 before settling at $2,770.99, up to 5.4%. MicroStrategy, co-founded by Bitcoin advocate Michael Saylor, climbed to 4.7% to $414.41. Coinbase Global, the largest U.S. crypto exchange, rose to 5.4% to $373.85, according to some industry experts. Companies are expected to continue taking on Bitcoin as reserved assets in the second half of 2025. According to CoinGlass, there are nearly $340 million in liquidation involving Bitcoin short position on various exchanges in the 4 hours around the time the new all-time high was established. Many Bitcoin holders are still holding on hope that the U.S. government will establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve before the end of the year, though the perceived odds of that happening are falling substantially this year. According to Polymarket, crypto exchange Coinbase Global and Bitcoin Treasury Company Strategy were both up roughly 5% on the day. Stock generally rose on Wednesday, with tech-focused Nasdaq Composite finishing at its own high. The federal government planned to raise a total of 1.76 trillion naira through Nigerian Treasury bill in the third quarter of 2025 amid maturing debt totaling 1.98 trillion naira, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. The NTB issuance calendar, the program covers 91 days, 182-day, 364-day tenure, with the highest concentration of maturity and offering in the 364-day category. An analysis of the issuance calendar shows that a total of 1.1 trillion naira will be offered in 364-day bill, 230 billion naira in 182 bill, and 340 billion naira in 91-day bill, July and September 2025. Over the same period, maturities are projected to reach 1.34 trillion naira for 364-day bills and 242.72 billion naira for 182-day bill and 400.05 billion naira for 91-day bills, totaling 1.98 trillion naira. The auction cycle begins with a modest offering of 250 billion naira on 10 July, comprising 100 billion in 91-day bills, 20 billion in 182-day bill, and 130 billion naira in 364-day bill. This aligns with the maturing obligation of 301.94 billion naira, which fall due the following day. The government is expected to continue with consistent weekly or bi-weekly auction with larger offer volume planned for dates such as September 4, when 480 billion naira worth of NTBs will be offered, the largest in the quarter. This includes 350 billion naira in the 364-day paper, 8 billion naira in 182-day, and 50 billion naira in 91-day instruments, corresponding to 324.4 billion naira in maturing bill. Other notable auction dates include 24th of July, which is 290 billion naira, and 7th of August 220 billion naira, 21 of August 230 billion naira, and 18th of August 290 billion naira, reflecting ongoing efforts to manage short-term funding need and control liquidity in the system. While several auction dates within the quarter, such as 3rd of July, 17th and 31st of July, have no offering schedule, they align with the week where no significant maturities are due date. The Central Bank of Nigeria has raised the alarm over a significant rise in financial fraud cases in Nigeria, revealing that fraud surged by 45% within 1 year, and 70% of the resulting losses traced to digital channel, particularly unregulated virtual asset platform. This was disclosed by the Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso in a speech delivered on his behalf by Mohammed Sani Abdullahi, Deputy Governor for Economic Policy, at the public lecture organized by Economic and Financial Crime Commission in Abuja. He added that the finding from CBN Financial Stability Report of 2024 reveals a sharp increase in fraud. The CBN Financial Stability Report 2024 reveals a 45% surge in financial fraud cases, with 70% of losses linked to digital channel, including unregulated virtual asset platform. Furthermore, over 30 Ponzi-style investment scheme exploiting digital currency narrative have been flagged by SEC and other agencies. Cardoso says the development poses major risk, including loss of consumers' confidence, weakening the financial integrity, and reputational challenges for Nigeria in the global financial system. In Nigeria, over 56 billion naira in crypto-related transactions were recorded between July 2022 and June 2023, making Africa digital transaction leader. But this growth is not without consequences. Cardoso noted that while digital innovation has enabled broader financial inclusion, it has also introduced complex regulatory and security challenges. The present era of rapid technological transformation has made the adoption of digital financial service in Nigeria, including cryptocurrencies and tokenized investments, increase exponentially. Emomotomi Agama, Director General of Security and Exchange Commission, emphasized the growing risk posed by virtual asset fraud to investors' confidence and market integrity. It says corruption remains a significant impediment to Africa's economic growth, social development, and investors' confidence. Agama reiterated the SEC's dedication to enhancing investors' protection through increased education and awareness on how to identify and avoid fraudulent schemes. He also emphasized the Commission's efforts to update regulatory framework in response to emerging risk in virtual assets and digital investment, while promoting international cooperation to tackle corruption and illicit financial flow. The Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, Hussaini Ishaq Magaji, stressed the need for regulators, institutions, and stakeholders to remain vigilant and proactive in addressing emerging threats such as fraud, money laundering, and financial manipulation. Magaji noted that CAC ongoing collaboration with the Security and Exchange Commission and other sector-specific regulators to strengthen corporate governance and enhance compliance, ensuring transparency and accountability within the Nigerian financial ecosystem. Let's take a quick short break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Business Point, where we extract the Nigerian economy and the government policies. The Nigerian pension industry sustained its upward trajectory in May 2025 as total pension fund assets rose to 24.10 trillion naira, reflecting a 1.91% month-on-month growth from 23.65 trillion naira in May. This is according to the latest data from the National Pension Commission. The increase was driven by a combination of a new retired saving account RSA registration, robust investment income, and strategic reallocation across asset classes, both fixed income and alternative investment classes, despite economic headwinds. Federal Government of Nigeria Security maintains their status as the cornerstone of pension investment, rising slightly by 2.04% to 14.95 trillion naira, accounting for 62.06% of the total pension assets. This distribution under the federal government security shows that FGN bond held to maturity rose by 1.73% to 12.67 trillion naira, maintaining their dominance as the largest single asset class and representing 52.56% a total net asset value. The Treasury bill increased by 5.15% to 604.59 billion naira, suggesting a shift towards short-term government instruments in response to anticipated changes in interest rates dynamics. Green bond posted a marginal gain of 0.74% to 2.32 billion naira. Agency bond and Sukuk bond both recorded decline, down to 14.66% and 10.31% respectively, a signal of softening demand for these instruments. State government security dipped to 3.07%. Corporate and money market instruments, mixed movements. Notably, total investment in corporate debt security dropped marginally by 0.98% to 2.29 trillion naira, constituting 9.51% of total NAV. Pension assets allocated to money market instruments grew by 0.07% to 2.31 trillion naira, the strongest month-on-month gain across asset classes. The instruments categorized under the money market are allocated to Fund 5, which inched up to 1.41 billion naira, a marginal yet crucial 0.04% foothold for informal sector coverage. Notably, closed pension fund administrator and approved existing scheme held 2.62 trillion naira and 2.85 trillion naira, marking solid double digits, accounting for 10.80% and 11.81% of the total NAV respectively. The data for May 2025 underscores the caution optimism guiding Nigerian Pension Fund Administration, who continue to lean on federal government instruments for stability while trying to explore high-yield alternatives like private equity, infrastructure, foreign markets. The uptick in foreign equity and private market signals that PFAs are gradually seeking return beyond the traditional safe haven, a trend likely to continue in the high inflation, low interest rate environment. Guarantee Trust Holding Company has announced the listing of additional 2,288,250,000 ordinary shares of 50 kobo each on Nigerian exchange as part of a dual public offer. The update was contained in the market bulletin released by NGX, on which disclosed that the newly listed shares were admitted at a market price of 17 naira per share. According to bulletin, this move brings the total issued and fully paid of GTCO to 36,425,229,514, up from 34,136,979,514 shares prior to the listing. The move is part of the GTCO's wider capital raising and dual listing strategy, coming just a day after it listed 2.9 billion ordinary shares on the London Stock Exchange on July 9, 2025. The shares were listed under the UK Financial Conduct Authority equity category and began trading on London Stock Exchange main market at the open well on July 9, 2025, after meeting all the regulatory requirements. As part of the shift, the company also announced plans to delist its global depository receipt from London Stock Exchange by July 31, 2025, citing low market participation. GTCO says this move will enhance investors' access and flexibility while strengthening its ability to raise capital globally. Commenting on the dual listing, Group CEO Segun Agbaje says GTCO is targeting a minimum dividend yield of 15% and a return of equity of at least 25%, reflecting the company's confidence in its growth outlook. On expansion plans beyond Nigeria, Agbaje noted growth is progressing gradually, supported by the new capital structure. He added that Senegal is expected to be the next country the group enters, with plans to strengthen its branch network in existing markets to improve competitiveness rather than simply expanding its geographic footprint. The Debt Management Office has debunked claims that the federal government of Nigeria spent 611.71 billion naira to service domestic US dollar dominated bond in March 2025. The agency clarified that the actual amount used for debt service in the reference period was 67.988 billion naira. In a statement issued, the DMO described the 611.71 billion naira figure, which has been circulating in some media reports, as wrong in its entirety. The DMO stated that the figure published by DMO on its website for the first quarter of 2025 as debt service on the US dollar dominated bond was 67.988 billion naira, not 611.71 billion naira. The figure of 611.71 billion naira quoted by some analysts is the debt service for all outstanding FGN bond, excluding the US dollar dominated bond. Nigerian total public debt rose to 149.39 trillion naira as of March 31st, 2025, marking a year-on-year increase of 27.72 trillion naira, that is 22.8% when compared to 121.67 trillion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2024. The domestic component of Nigeria's debt also maintained an upward trend, reaching 78.76 trillion naira at the end of March 2025. This reflects a year-on-year increase of 13.11 trillion naira, that is 20% from 65.65 trillion naira in March 2024. On a quarterly basis, domestic debt rose by 4.38 trillion naira, that is 5.9%, up from 74.38 trillion naira in December 2024. The federal government alone accounted for 74.89 trillion naira of this total, while the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory jointly held 3.87 trillion naira. Interestingly, state-level domestic debt declined slightly from 3.97 trillion naira in the fourth quarter of 2024 and from 4.07 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024, settling at 3.87 trillion naira by the end of March 2025. Nigerian external debt as of March 31st, 2025 stood at 70.63 trillion naira, that is $45.98 billion, a significant jump from 56.02 trillion naira, that is $42.12 billion in the same period of 2024. All right, this is where we draw the curtain on Business Point today. Join me again on Monday on Global Television, channel 365 on DSTV and 276 on StarTime. To stay connected, kindly follow us on all our social media platforms at Global TV NG. Till I come your way again, I am Kike Lomo Okeri. I celebrate you all.